Hello, hi, and welcome to Empathic Fire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Aries in mid-September 2020. What is going on? I almost called you Aquarius. I just did their reading, so I apologize. What is going on, Aries? Welcome to September or mid-September. Hopefully, wherever you are in the world, guys, you are safe, happy, and secure at this time. Please continue to take very good care of yourselves and the people that you know and love, as we are still very much dealing with a pandemic, okay? Any announcements? No, I don't think so. Nope. So, Aries, let's get into it, shall we? Anything that you guys want from me, it's already in the description box. So if you're looking for the timestamp, it is down there. If you are looking for information on how to go about purchasing a personal reading with me, that information is down there. If you have a question before you place an order with me, just go ahead and email me at the same address that's provided, and I will answer you as soon as I can. If you're interested in making a donation to the channel, you can use the PayPal or the Cash App that's down there. Someone recently asked about that, so I figured I would share that information with the collective, or in these series of series of videos. So that's why I mention it here. And also, if you want to follow me on Instagram at EmpathicFire Tarot, the link for that is down below as well. Yeah, there it is. That's the intro. All right, Aries, let's get into it. I want to see messages for Aries in mid-September, please. Messages, energies, and insights for Aries in September 2020, mid-September 2020, please. Are we doing a bridge? No. All right, so let's go. We'll go right into it. All right, Aries, let's get into it. Whoa. Not half the deck, but a considerable amount, but we'll take that one. So Hanged Woman, first card out. Two more for Aries, please, in mid-September. All right. Ten of Wands and the Ace of Cups. All right, friends. So, looks like gotta do some shifting probably, but let's be sure of that. So, the Hanged Woman, secondary major for Pisces. You could be dealing with a Pisces, but you don't have to be. Ten of Wands. I just realized what's playing. Hold on a second. All right, I apologize. For some reason, it started to play music I know would have been flagged for copyright, so had to turn that off. So Ten of Wands, second card out for you, Aries, and the Ace of Cups. Aries, I feel like, you've got some things that need removal, release from your life, in order to have brand new opportunities, brand new beginnings, right? And it's a tough go because I think fire sign energy, but obviously this is Aries reading. I feel like you're being, well, not being, I feel like, yeah, it's like if you've invested in something, right, for X amount of time in your life, years, weeks, months, whatever, it's hard to scrap that knowing that it's not going to work out the way you want. This could apply in several different areas of your life: work, family, home life, professional life, love life, whatever. All different realms. But particularly for the majority of you, it feels like love and or work, okay? Hanged Woman. Now, I think Aries, here's the thing. I think Aries puts a lot of trust and emphasis on getting things started. As a cardinal energy, that's kind of what you're known for. You're the first sign of the zodiac, so you're definitely known for pioneering, for beginning, for having great ideas and implementing those ideas. And the follow-through is usually pretty strong with an Aries, but to get things to change, to shift, or to let them go, to end them, to allow the release of something is a struggle sometimes, because that means you have to come up with a new plan of action, right? A new endeavor. And, sometimes that's exciting for an Aries, but I'm feeling like a lot of uncertainty at this point. And I don't know what's going on in your personal chart, and I don't really know astrologically what's going on for the collective. I'm not an astrologer, but it feels like that. It feels like the circumstances around you, or the timing of this, or the tone or the temperature of what is needing to be reimagined is kind of a thorn in your side, something like that. So this Hanged Woman, Aries, is asking you to kind of open up your mind, open up, like I said, reimagine. So maybe possibly some of you are stuck creatively, like maybe for your job or in your personal life, you do something creative, you do something that requires, fabulous or unique ideas, and you're kind of like, writer's block or something like that. And I just feel the struggle is to really reimagine what is already in your life and restructure it in a different way, or utilize it in a different way, perhaps. Going particularly with this idea of writer's block. Let's say you have a script or a novel, or you're doing whatever. You're creating something, and you've created a character, or you have a plot line in your head, and it's just not flowing with the entire piece. It's not, the whole rhythm of the book is off, the script is off now because of this one character, and you just can't work it out in your head. And so I feel not that you would have to go back to the beginning and rewrite the entire thing, although for some of you maybe that's true. It's like to start over, to start something over, to start something fresh. As much as I think you consciously know, I have to go back, or I have to let this thing be, like, just put the period at the end of this and like move on to something else. Like, I know and it's interesting I say I know, because I usually say I feel. I know, Aries, that that that's the truth. You know that something has to be re-evaluated or completely released from your life. But there's I don't know, or possibly you lack the patience to tastefully rewrite or restructure something or release. Like, okay, this is getting a little okay. Wow, you guys are all having, clearly it's a general, so you're all having different experiences, but I'm feeling that for some of you this is very work oriented, and another group of Aries it's like totally like relationship oriented, and it's about how you feel excuse me, how you feel in your relationships with your friends or your family members, things like that. And for the work people, I think it's more frustrating. It's frustrating because I think maybe you feel like a little bit of a knock on your confidence, like, and it doesn't even have to be specific to a project or specific to something that you've created. It could be specific to the job or focused on the career path that you're on. I've spent, 20 years being in this profession, and now I'm like not so sure about it, or I'm not as satisfied with it, or the company has changed, or my goals have changed, or whatever. And so there's a risk, or there's this idea of uncertainty of, well, at this stage in my life, is it really smart to start a whole new career over again? Or in some cases, start your own business, right? In relationships, I think it's a little harder, because if we're talking friends and family, it's not that you're wanting to, or that I would even advise for you to just like completely, walk away from these people. In some cases, maybe you might need to. I don't really know yet. But it's like you have grown accustomed to whatever is going on, or whatever you have, or whoever you're with, or whoever you're close to, right? You've grown accustomed to it, but at the same time, where you are, there we go. Where you are, Aries, professionally, personally, emotionally, interpersonally, whatever way I'm talking, whatever this refers to in your life, you've kind of reached the plateau. You've reached the apex. You've done all you could do in this situation. You've accomplished possibly a great amount of things. You've made great career choices, or you've earned a lot of money, and you're super secure and all this other kind of stuff. In your family or friendship relationships, you have great bonds with people, but there's like this staleness, or this feeling of being unfulfilled. And again, this Hanged Woman is a major arcana card. And then the traditional tarot, it's sort of alluded to here because she has this afro, right? What might be perceived as an afro or something like that around her head, right? So in the traditional tarot, you'll see a man in this card, and around him there's sort of like this halo of light, or like this crown of light around his head, meaning enlightenment. So for some of you, you're having some type of awakening process, you're having some type of spiritual glow up that is giving you reason, quote unquote, giving you reason to feel or come to this sense that, I'm not as satisfied as I thought I was. I'm not as fulfilled here as I thought I was. And to release based purely on, I just don't feel the vibe anymore, for some of you feels arbitrary or strange or unfair, or someone's telling you this. If this is not how you're thinking of it, this is how someone's telling you, Aries, you're being unreasonable, or Aries, you're being irrational. Why suddenly do you not want to be doing this, or be here, or give to this situation, or show up to this job, and blah, 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 blah. And there's just like an uncertainty about that. So there's something happening here, very significant, and it's a turning point with this Hanged Woman, okay? Now, the next point of action, I suppose, is this Ten of Wands, or at least more clarification into the story. So Ten of Wands is about carrying burden. It is about coming to sort of the end of the road with something and realizing your job is done here. All the exerted effort that you've given to a situation, it's enough. You can put those wands down. You can go, pop a squat underneath the shaded tree and relax, or at least, rest up from the burden of carrying these wands. I feel that's kind of here, but, okay. So for some of you, not that it's about retirement, but there is, again, like this plateau that you've reached in your job. If you are the CFO or the CEO, or if you are the lead manager somewhere, and that's kind of where you've been capped for 15 years and you feel really accomplished in that role, and there's not much new shit coming down the road for you, it's not that it's a burden, but like I said, you've done everything that you could do. And it's not to say you lack the skills or the know-how or the desire to continue. It's more of like, I guess it's like the challenge, There's something where I feel you or the situation you're involved in is exhausted. Not necessarily exhausted in like tired, this is so much, like, I can't catch my, not that type of exhausted, as in like empty. Like a gas tank that's on E, empty. And there's no gas station around, there's no, spare tank or jug of gas anywhere nearby, and so there's no reason to keep traveling down this road. It's over. It's very interesting, and I feel, if I'm honest, Aries, I don't know that I'm telling you anything that's earth-shattering or that's heartbreaking to you. Maybe in a few of your cases you feel that way, but it's more of like because Aries likes to accomplish, to move forward and progress and hit goal after goal after goal after goal. It's like there's no more goals to hit. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, whoever you're dealing with, you've hit every goal. You've checked all the boxes. So your satisfaction, like I said earlier, has now is in the tank or in the toilet, right? So now your level of satisfaction drops like a rock because you've done all you could do. And I feel like for the most part, it feels like a job well done. It might not have always been easy or enjoyable. You might not have always been given the recognition or felt as if you were doing a good job. Some of you may be self-critical and thinking, am I really not worthy? Have I really done the best that I could do, right? Was I really the best person to fulfill this role, or to, create this script, going back to those where this is a creative thing. But it's gotten to the point where there's not much more you can put into the situation, so it has to change. Your efforts, your endeavors, your dreams, your goals, they have to change and they shift. I think you are mostly okay with that energy. Some of you, again, are like uncertain. You might be self-critical, or you're dealing with people who are kind of like a little resentful or a little like unsure of why you have to go about these changes, or you suddenly it's not good enough for you, is how they feel. Like suddenly, you're just like, you're not to be pleased. And it's not about that. Now, interestingly, okay, maybe not interestingly, but I think that is complicated when we're talking again about interpersonal relationships with friends or family members or lovers and spouses and stuff like that. If you are no longer interested in living where you live, let's say you live with like your family, your extended family, or roommates or something like that, and it's copacetic, it's fine, everybody pays their fair share of the utilities and everything's cool, but you want to live alone, maybe. I just want to live on my own, and you can afford to do that. It feels like someone might be saying to you, Aries, you're leaving me like out on the limb here, like in the lurch, like abandoning maybe is how this might feel to somebody else. Or you might be saying that to yourself. I can't abandon my friends. I can't, make this move without impacting another person. But at the same time, if you don't make the move, you're just gonna continue to feel not awful, but just like this, constantly carrying a burden or constantly involved in an act, in a behavior, in a circumstance that doesn't fulfill you. It's not the best use of your time or your energy or your effort. You know what I mean? So what happens, or what I think most of you want, is this vitality spark, this reinvigoration, Ace of Cups, to your emotional body or your emotional side of self, right? I think you've been like, if this was on a scale 1 to 10, you want a 10 or a 9, but you've been cruising at like a 5 or a 6 for a while. 5 or 6, it's satisfactory, low level satisfactory. It's not like a damn 2 or a 3, which is like practically despair and awful, right? So cruising at a 5 or a 6, when what you really want to feel, what you really want to be doing, who you really want to be with, would make you feel like you have 9 or 10, right? And that's the other thing, going back to the archetype of Aries. Aces are initiate energy. You're a cardinal sign. You initiate, you start, you begin. You're most excited and most in your zone when you can make your mark, when you have, ground to sort of begin building on, a fresh new foundation, a fresh new idea, a fresh new connection or partnership or relationship or whatever. Not to say in those situations Aries cannot sustain a relationship. Aries do not desire long-term relationships. You do, but you would need regular hits of new energy or new inspiration, reasons to feel useful, effective in a situation. When you have exhausted your effectiveness, you become bored, lethargic, depressed in some cases. Some of you, like I said, you become self-critical. Am I really doing enough? Or was what I did to get me here to this high point in my career, or this, very long state of contentment in my relationships, in my commitments, was that really enough? Should I be doing so? You constantly, maybe not constantly, but you might regularly second guess yourself, or feel the need to go over the top and do some grand gesture that maybe isn't received well. So in that, where's that coming from? Oh, so let's say, and this is very stereotypical, but let's say you're in a commitment, a marriage or a long-term commitment, whatever. And the fires died down a little bit. It's not like that, roaring inferno that is relative to the start of many relationships, not all. But, it's been several years, it's been a while, and it's gone down to a smoldering fire. It's still warm. There's still, heat coming off of it, but it's not a fire, right? And you want a fire in this relationship. So you might want to spice things up in the bedroom. You might want to be more spontaneous and take your man or your woman away and whisk them off their feet, or you want to be whisked off your feet, right? If that's more your style, take me somewhere, do something. And you want that, and maybe you've tried that, but it didn't go over well, right? So your effort is kind of like wasted, or it's not appreciated. Yeah. Aries, no. All right, so I think the Hanged Woman was a little bit of a weird energy for me, but I'm not going to mess around with it because I think if you resonate with what I was saying there, you get what I was saying there. I think I want to know more about the Ace of Cups, because the Ten of Wands is also pretty like standard, like it's a burden. It's not enjoyable. You've done a good job, or you've done all you could do. Let's let this go and move on to something else. It doesn't mean like abandon everything that you have. In some of your cases, this is not about walking off and doing something completely different. I did use the words reimagine, right? So it's the same situation, it's the same project, it's the same people, the same environment or whatever, but there's a different way of working with it. That will work for some of you. For some of you, you've tried to reimagine. You've tried to, put some fire back into the, or put some energy back into the fire. Throw more logs on the fire or whatever, and get it going again. And it didn't work, right? So, pick which storyline is yours and apply it. Okay. Now, I wasn't asking for anything, but we have the Five of Cups, so I will address it very quickly. Five of Cups is about emotional dissatisfaction. It's about crying over spilled milk and feeling like, in some cases, maybe feeling like you've missed an opportunity, you've missed your chance. And that's exactly what you're seeking with this Ace of Cups, is chances and opportunities. So I don't know that I'm not going to accept this because I didn't really ask about it, but it shows up to confirm that aspect of what's going on in your situation. Yeah. So let's clarify the Ace of Cups for Aries. Why is the Ace of Cups here? For Aries, why is the Ace of Cups here for Aries? Please show me. Hey. Ace of Cups for Aries. Okay, the Magician. Absolutely, you're in charge. Or at least you want to be, I should say. Magician. One more card to clarify the Ace of Cups. Of course it's going to go to the ground. Of course that's what's going to happen. Where did it go? Oh, it's right there. Hold on. Come here. There we go. All right. Emperor. That's you. All right. So Magician, secondary major for Gemini and Virgo. You could be dealing with a Gemini or a Virgo. And Emperor is your major arcana, Aries. So you're here showing up, showing your face. Very good. So yeah, you are wanting to create and or reclaim your power, create these opportunities, align with these opportunities. I feel a heavy investment. And the Magician, I think, is calling back to sort of that spiritual awakening and that, kind of glow up that I was mentioning with the Hanged Woman. I think the Magician is sort of making that practical, bringing that, energy from the ethers, from the heavens, whatever you believe in or don't believe in, okay, and bringing it down and solidifying it here on the physical plane in the 3D world, right? So that's turning prayers and affirmations and meditations into actual changes in your life, behavioral things that you can do to align yourself with what you have hoped, wished, and prayed for. Does that make sense? Or things that have come to you, like realizations, right? Again, with the Hanged Woman, like eureka moments in your life, like, aha, I realize I'm not happy with this job. What am I going to do about it? So the Magician is taking those practical actions and utilizing all the resources at your disposal and doing so smartly. Now, the Emperor, again, your energy, Aries, I think it feels very dominant or domineering or just very strong. So what I would caution, because the Magician, I feel, this is the first time I'm saying this, but this is kind of what it feels like. The Magician is kind of like tofu. It is whatever you want it to be. Like, I don't know that many of you cook with tofu. I don't, but I've eaten it. And tofu to me is so bland that it takes on whatever it's near. Like, you can put it into a dish and it's not that noticeable, or it complements because it absorbs the flavors of whatever you put it in. Does that make sense? So if you want to make a very lovely dish with tofu, you can. if you make a crappy dish and you add tofu, it's not going to make it taste any better. You see what I mean? So there's a potential here for the magician to sort of absorb the more drastic or aggressive energies of the Emperor card. So I would be careful if you are leaving situations, changing things up, even if you're reimagining or trying to put new energy into a situation, a circumstance, or a relationship that you've been in for a while. I would be careful at how dominant you're going to be there, Aries. Like, I feel warned about this Emperor energy. It's not bad because it's, it's, the Emperor can be assertive, but not necessarily aggressive. Does that make sense? So if you have the choice between being assertive or aggressive, I would mind like how easy it is to slip into that state of aggression versus assertion or being assertive, right? So be careful. And that's the other thing about the magician. It's kind of masterful in that way where, again, it can kind of move the needle and adjust by like small degrees to get it just right. So if you have an opportunity coming to you and you're aware of it, I think you'll take it. But you're not going to, okay, thank you. And that's the thing. These two together are super smart. Super, super smart, right? It could be another person. Thank you. There we go. It could be that you're linking up with a person, whatever their sign is, whichever actual tarot card they're representing, because you could be meeting someone who's in their Emperor energy and you're carrying the Magician energy, or vice versa, whatever. But if you are encountering a new person, I feel they are very much not your match in terms of you guys are the same. I think they're your match in terms of like how you approach things, how you are minding things. That's what this feels like. Like somebody who's just as smart and clever as you, even though they might not be as successful or they might not be from the same background. Does that make sense? So it's like not your match, like, oh my God, we get along. We love the same TV shows and the same music. It's not about that. It's about you're the same in terms of how you view progression, evolution, goal-oriented, or the ways to go after goals, the ways to make plans and strategies. Like they think the same way strategically or like, what's that called? Like, okay, that's not the best analogy, but they're like showing me like a war room. And like you both look at like this map and you both suggest, okay, we're going to go and we're going to attack and we're going to attack from this point and then we're going to bring the troops here. Like the way to move the pieces around, they're the same. If it's a new person, it's not for everybody. You're just doing that by yourself. For the majority of you, you will be doing that yourself. Long-term thinking, long-term goal, right? That's the name of the game. Now, Ace of Cups, just to touch on it quickly, because I know a few of you are looking for insight on your love life. I can just feel that. I'm not certain that... What am I doing here? Scroll. I see. I think I see. I think you need to read the details is how this feels. If basically, Aries, if you've just gotten out of something semi-serious or mostly serious, a marriage, a long-term commitment, and you're newly single, because I feel there's a potential to be newly single, like hanging on or trying to make things work and then realizing, you know what, this is a burden, I'm done with this, and then dropping, and then immediately going, okay, well, now I want to have a love offer, now I want to give my cup of love to another person. I'm not sure that immediately that's the best idea. And I said that before about how the magician can be like tofu. It is what you make of it, right? It's you can throw it in a delicious dish and it doesn't change the flavor. The dish is what it is. Maybe it complements it a little bit, but you can't throw tofu into a bad dish and hope that it's going to make it taste better, because it won't. Because tofu really is so flavorless. It's so whatever. It takes on whatever it's with, right? So I feel that you for some of you, being so like, oh, I want to be in a relationship, I want to be on a date, I want to meet someone, that aggressiveness or that now, do it now, do it yesterday kind of pull or desire, it's very masculine because, you know, Emperor is one of the cards of masculine energy or divine masculine energy in the tarot. Regardless of gender, regardless of whether you're a male or female, right? I think it can be overkill, right? If you want it now and you're desiring it so much, you're not really going to get a quality person, is what this feels like. So be mindful of what you're drawing into your life, right? If you want someone who, let's say you weren't in anything serious, maybe you've been solo dolo forever, let's say that, and now you're like, okay, now I want to date, now I want to be committed, now I want to get married. You're not going to get that. It's like tomorrow. You're just not. That's not how it works. So there's something about be mindful of what you're attracting to you, energetically speaking, right? The masculine might be a little too gung-ho right now. I try to make these like less than 30 minutes and it never works. All right, so let's get one card of advice and then we're done. One card of advice for Aries, please. All right. Two, or the Lovers. That kind of fits with what I was just talking about. Because, well, traditionally when we talk about the Lovers, we say, you know, making a choice, head over heart decision, you know, caught between the head and the heart. And maybe that's true. Maybe some of you have a lot of love to give with that Ace of Cups. Maybe you feel quite amorous. You feel very like randy, as I guess. Well, I guess that's kind of like old school, like British slang, right? You feeling randy, babe? You feeling randy, love? But some of you might be literally like wanting to get laid. Okay, if that's what you want to do that. Do not seek to get laid and then marry like the next day. Does that make sense? It's something like that where this desire to have might be a little clouded. And again, you gotta have like a balance, because what do we see? Two flamingos. Like if you cut this card in half, it's a mirror image of itself, right? So there has to be a balance. There has to be a measured middle ground that you go towards or you walk down. That might require a little bit of patience, a little bit of, you know, foresight. So mind your impulsiveness is how that feels. But as your advice in another way, the Lovers is basically, I think, Aries, being very honest about where you need to be, right? Head over heart or heart over head, whichever way you want to prioritize it. Being very aware of what you actually need in your life. Not dreaming or living too much in fantasy. Does that make sense? Something like that. And, okay, so this is a major arcana for Gemini, and this is their secondary. So some of you might have a tie with Geminis right now. I haven't done their reading for the mids, but their September reading was kind of crazy, so... But again, you know, that's just like arbitrary. Please don't hang on to that too much, okay? Alright guys, that is your reading for mid-September. If you liked it, Aries, please hit the like button. If you want to let me know how this resonates in your life, please leave a comment. That'd be super cool. Feel free to share the video and subscribe to the channel, my friends, if you have not done so already. Doing any and all of those things helps keep me afloat here in the YouTube world, keeps my videos circulating around the interwebs, and it helps people find my content. So if you want to help me in those endeavors, that would be great. If you want a personal reading, again, it's down in the description box. Feel free to hit me up, okay? Aries, I'll be back in a few weeks when I bring you your October messages. Until then, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.